Greetings, my friends. Bow to God in you, bow to God in all. Another lovely morning. What I'd like to talk about today is the flow of life, like the flow of that river. So let's start with a little prayer of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Tu dariya dana bina मैं मछली कैसे अंत लहा तू दरिया दाना बिना मैं मछली कैसे अंत लहा ना जाना मैं यो ना जाना जाली जहाँ दुख लागे ता तुझे संभाली ना जाना मैं ओ ना जाना जाली जहाँ दुख लागे ता तुझे संभाली. Great Guru Nanak Dev Ji. You know, he walked for over half his life, maybe 30 or 40,000 miles on 4 trips or dasis, each lasting maybe a decade or more. So he was constantly in nature, and you can understand when we read Guru Nanak's prayers why he sings and gives poetry referring to nature all the time. So let's talk about 3 things. Firstly, the flow of life, where it all came from, according to Guru Nanak. Secondly, how does that affect our destiny, our life? What can we learn from it? And thirdly, how can we make use of it to go forward in our life? So let's start. So where did the flow of life all begin? Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that for countless ages, a time that cannot be measured, God, or whatever this being, this force that we call God was, and it just was whatever it was, and then it gave the word, Ek Gavaho, the one gave the word, Tiste hoy laktiriyao, and then countless rivers started flowing. So maybe now in today's terminology we can think that Big Bang, something was there before the Big Bang. The Big Bang happened, and then energy, gases, particles, everything started flowing, and energy turned into matter, matter turned into this earth, earth turned into our body. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, firstly, that there's a flow from the source, from the one. Ek Onkar, the one is written as a Ik and Onkar, the source. So when we understand that our souls are also coming from the origin, the supreme soul, like we're drops out of the ocean, then we're also a flow. So how does that affect our destiny? Well, people say life just came spontaneously, I'm just here, came out of nowhere, was born, then I'm going to die, I'm going to go to nowhere. I came out of nothing, I'm going to go into nothing. Whatever my life is, it's just these 80, 100 years if we're lucky, and that's it. But according to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the saints, our soul, our drop, is part of a flow. It was on a journey, the journey of the soul. Before we came, into this body, and this body is just like we put clothes on today. So this body is a cloth of the soul, this body and mind. And when we die, we just take off these clothes and we move on and put on another set of clothes, another body, maybe whatever life form that could be, tree, piece of grass, maybe a demon, maybe a saint, maybe another human. So our soul is on the flow as well. But where is it all flowing to? Brings me on to the third point. And how does it help us to know this? Well, things happen in our life and we say, oh, I'm a good person. Why did God let that bad thing happen to me? You know, two brothers born and brought up in the same way. One becomes very successful, one becomes a criminal. Or baby gets sick. People say that baby didn't do anything to anyone. Like my daughter got sick when she was born in 2000. She was diagnosed with meningitis. And yeah, sure, it's devastating, because part of me is thinking, I've been praying all these years and to God, and why did he let my daughter get sick? And not just sick, meningitis. It's devastating. She could be brain damaged, could lose limbs, could even lose her life. So I was really shaken at that time, trying to understand it. But if we understand the flow that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is talking about, then her soul is coming from whatever journey it was on, and it just had to go through this dukh, this suffering, for a little while, to learn something, for us to learn something, and then she came out of it on the other side. So when we see the bigger picture, that whatever's happening to us right now is because of our past. So if I'm a computer man, then I studied computing at university, I sowed that then, I'm reaping it now. That's all karma means. You reap what you sow. And if I eat bad, if I smoke, I'll probably get some kind of cancer, some kind of heart disease. So the law of sowing and reaping applies to our body. What we sow in our mouth, we reap in our body. And also applies to our future. So once we know whatever's happening to me right now, however much money I've got right now, whatever my health is like right now, is because of the flow, the journey of my soul from the beginning. Whatever I've done, I'm having to reap. And so how can I make use of that, which was the final point? Well, in the same way, people say, oh well, if God is doing everything, and we haven't got any power, then what's the point of even making any effort? Well, it's not like that. It's like this path I'm walking on. You know, the path behind me, that's what's happened. But the path ahead, now that isn't written yet. I'm creating the path by what I'm doing today. So what I did yesterday, I reap today, and what I do today, I reap tomorrow, for example. So how does that help me? I realize the state of my mind right now, all my thoughts, all my character, my personality, is all based on my experiences. Say I got hurt as a teenager emotionally, and then I decided I'm never gonna make another relationship again. So I made that thought, and then in my life going forward, I avoided making relationships until I changed that thought. So the talk was about the flow of life. Guru Nanak calls it a river that's come from the One. We're all flowing as per this river's direction. Guru Nanak says, go with the flow. Hukam rajai chalna, nan likhya naal. What you've written for yourself, what you've done, that's the road you made yourself. You know, you made your bed, you have to lie in it. So accept it. So if you're having a hard time, problems, don't complain, blame, say, you know, I've done something, my belief systems, my past lives, that's why I'm in this situation. And that kind of thinking, when you realize we're on a journey of the soul, it just makes us accept our situation. And then once we accept it, we stay calm and we work out what we're going to do next, and we can make the road ahead. So, number one, accept that everything is come from God, flowing rivers of energy which have turned into us. Number two, it applies not just physically but spiritually. So our soul is also on a journey. What we did yesterday, we reap today. What we do today, we reap tomorrow. And so thirdly, knowing that, sow good today. So good, and good will come back to you tomorrow. So ultimately sow God's name, and God Himself will come into our heart. And just going back to the song of Guru Nanak Dev Ji at the beginning, Tu Dariya ho dana bina, you are the river, deep and wise. Main machli kaise ant laha, I am just a fish, how can I know your extent? Na jana mein ho, na jana jali, I don't see the fisherman or his net. Jahan dukh lage ta tujhe samali, but when the suffering comes, then I remember you. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, we're a fish in this cosmos, but oblivious to God, because we get caught up in sukh, in peace and happy. Sukh in this sense means in comforts and enjoyments, we forget God. So in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's teachings, dukh is the wake up call. So when that fisherman's net, when the problems come, then we call upon God if we're lucky. So hopefully that helped. Accept our situation. A certain journey of the soul is what we're on, and we can make our own future by changing our thinking. God bless you. Satnam, 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 Satnam.